IP and amount of ignorance we're about to get into right now.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
All right, guys, we're back. This is episode 197, Concrete Cowboy. Terrence and Tiara are both out this week, but we are going to go it alone, which is probably fitting for this episode, actually, considering the topic. So, I don't want any of these single, childless heathens talking about this movie.
All these people with no responsibilities.
Right. Just hanging out, partying with their friends.
Living life. getting good nights of sleep.
Yeah, what a bunch of assholes. Not riding horses. This is directed by Ricky Staub, starring Idris Elba, Caleb McLaughlin, Gerald Jerome, Byron Bowers, Lorraine Toussaint, Clifford Method Man Smith. Look, this is produced by Lee Daniels, which I think is important to say. Also produced by Idris Elba. Look, I'll give my impression on it. Obviously, this is my first time. By the way, this is a review for Concrete Cowboy. You can watch this streaming on Netflix. Review. It's in the title. Okay. My impressions of this, I thought it was very good. I really enjoyed it. I like that Caleb McLaughlin was able to sort of transition and do something besides Stranger Things. Like, cause he's fun on that show and I like him on that show. But I'm always afraid for young actors to get pigeonholed in those kind of roles, that really take off for them. And it's clear that this kid has real talent. And he can definitely, do more. So I thought his performance was very good. Idris Elba.
Don't deny the young man his role as Ricky Bell in the New Edition story.
Idris Elba is also in this movie.
I like the New Edition story.
I haven't seen it. In fairness, I have not seen it. I heard it was crazy, but people enjoyed it. They seemed to like it. Idris Elba plays his father in this movie, and I also thought he was great. I will say this. I love the trajectory of Idris Elba's career because he could just do popcorn bubblegum bullshit, but he really likes to dig in as an actor and do some like very serious and heavy roles. This is another one of those. I thought he was good. I thought he was really good. So yeah, if I have to give it a score, I guess, a 4 out of 5. Like I really dug it. I thought it was quite good.
I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5. I enjoyed the movie. It's one of the few movies that is not afraid to show Philadelphia for the shithole that it is.
That's hilarious.
I told my wife that. She was like, I thought this was Baltimore.
See. What I say the other day about her. See, I told you, man. Get out of here.
I enjoy the movie. I feel like this is pretty much a bog standard coming of age story.
Sure.
Right. The thing that it has going for it is the fact this unique setting that this coming of age story is put in. It's something that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And part of me, I don't remember the trailer. Part of me wished that they could have delved a little more into what these urban cowboys are. I think they do a pretty good job because they're trying to also tell this coming of age story, but it's very clear that the coming of age story is the A story. And then this very unique world of urban cowboys is the B story.
Right.
What it does do is it makes me want to investigate these, urban cowboys. I would love to see a documentary of them. But in terms of what you got to rate the movie for what it is showing you. And for what it's showing, if you're gonna be a pretty standard coming of age story, you got to have good characters, and you got to have actors to really bring these characters to life. And I really think they do. Caleb McLaughlin is almost unrecognizable. You know, if you only seen him in a couple things, you know, this young man's all here talking about, I don't know that nigga. Like, whoa.
Yeah, like, look, I get it. You got a little swole with your Hulk Hogan WrestleMania workout set. Relax, you're still 12 years old. Like, it's bothersome to me.
I'll knock your ass in the next week, boy. Who you think you talking to?
Yeah, like, aren't you supposed to be a Ghostbuster? Like, knock it off.
Idris Elba is always very good. You know, they give him, I don't feel like he has a lot, but I think that's kind of the point. You know, he's kind of distant, but I think that's the point. And I think they, you know, like coming of age stories do with fathers and sons who don't get along, eventually they get there, right?
Right.
Through some common thing that they like, because like that's how men show affection, right? Like you gotta,
it is.
You wanna come over here and build something with me?
I mean, like, that's Fences is a perfect example of that, right?
Right.
God, men are so emotionally stunted. Like, it's so fucking true. I got this horse. I like horses. You like horses? Yeah. Like, that's all it is, dude. That's it. That's men in a nutshell. It's true.
Jarrell Jerome in a supporting role. But yo, that Jarrell Jerome, that kid is good in everything, man.
He is.
And a woman who I think really does need to be in more things is Lorraine Toussaint. I think
agreed.
One, I kind of like would really like to like have sex with Lorraine Toussaint.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. I mean, come on, look, let's not pretend that our eyes are broken. They are not.
You know, I think she is. I think she's. There's something about her. Like,
she's got a vibe. She does.
She's got a vibe, man. And not to only, you know, talk about the things that I would want her to do to me. No, she's also an incredible actress. Right?
She is a stellar actress.
She is, man. Like in this, like she's very loving, but like no nonsense, right? But you see her in something like Orange is the New Black, and she's terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, look, the last time I saw Lorraine Toussaint before this was her getting hit by a van at the end of the season. They were like, yo, we got to get rid of her. She was awful. She was an awful person. But I loved her in that role. She was great. She's great in everything.
She's wonderful in everything. And I really think she's an actor that really needs to get more work.
You know who she is? Like, I don't like to do Viola Davis is the Black Meryl Streep kind of thing. Like, I think that's ridiculous because, frankly, Viola Davis is her own person, right? But I will do that only in this case for Lorraine Toussaint, only because she doesn't get enough roles, and this other person gets a lot of roles, but they feel like the same level of talent, right? And they're of different sexes. Lorraine Toussaint is the John Goodman of Black women actresses, right? Like, John Goodman is great in everything. Like, he is. He's a character actor. He's great in everything. It's like, John Goodman's in it. It's going to be great. He's going to be good. It could be comedy. He could be a villain. He could be like deathly serious about something. John Goodman is always really good. And you like seeing him in everything. Lorraine Toussaint is the same way. She can play it all. And like, she should be as big of a fucking star. Like, to me. So, no, I love her and everything, man. When the second I saw she was in this, I was like, whatever she's doing, it's going to be great. And she was. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I enjoyed the movie. You know, it's your standard coming of age plot. So most of the overall beats you're probably going to know,
right.
But it is a good movie to watch. And, just to see Black people in like something very different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me go ahead, because I have a very interesting question for you.
Go ahead.
So the director is white.
Yeah, I saw that.
Could you tell? Because
no, I had to look it up.
Okay.
I had to look it up. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Because normally that's a thing. If you've listened to a number of these shows, you can normally tell a black movie directed by a white guy. You can, because and I think what it is and I don't think I've ever been able to really vocalize it well enough until this movie is there is a level of distance between the characters and the director. Not physically, but like emotional distance between the characters and the director and how they're being directed when it's a white guy directing black people, right? Because you don't know the culture. So, you know what I mean? Like you can't push the actors in deeper ways sometimes because you don't know how to get them there, right? Like it's just, that's not a lack of anything. It's just like a black dude directing
it's just
all Asian people wouldn't be able to do that. Right?
Experience, right?
Right.
Experience.
Right.
Like it would be like one of us directing, a film about a woman coming of age.
Right.
I have zero knowledge of that.
Right. I'd be like, and then you touch your boobs? I don't know what you do. Like you're like, right. So you're just confused. You have no idea. Your understanding of it is completely like secondhand. Right. So in this, I did have to look it up because I was like, well, I don't know Ricky Staub. I don't know that name. So I had to look it up. And I was shocked that he was white because there is that distance doesn't seem there. And that could be a testament to Ricky Staub's work. I don't know. I mean, he's a fairly new director. But it could also be, a testament to the actors, right? Like in the material that they were able to like kind of push themselves. I don't know. But I thought like, if I'm just assuming that he was doing what directors do, and I'm not going to take anything away from him, I thought he did a really good job. Considering this is his first like feature film, I believe. Apparently people were so impressed with this work that this dude got hired to co-write John Wick 4.
Wow.
Right. This is like, wow, you did such an amazing job. So, I mean, he's the one who ran into the dude we'll talk about later, who's in a wheelchair, who turns out to like actually be one of these urban cowboys in real life. He ran into him and met him and learned about his whole story. And that's what got him into doing this movie.
You know what it is? It's just showing it's giving a shit, right?
Yeah.
It's having enough respect for your work and the thing that you are writing about, right? Like when we review these like cheesy black thrillers, like there's nothing to research. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing to, that's why they don't even change the names, right? Like there's nothing to research. But this is something, it's based on a novel called Ghetto Cowboy.
Right.
It's about, I would imagine that the director kind of approached this in terms of research as like, as one would do preparing for a documentary.
Yeah, it feels that way in a lot of ways.
And instead of it being a documentary, it's just a coming of age drama. But yeah, man, I like the movie. I dig it.
One last thing before we get started. If you like Charm City Kings, you'd like this. Like, they're very similar. Like,
I mean, they look like they were shot in the same fucking location.
I mean, they're both in Philly, right? Like, I mean, no, there are parts. I guess no, that's right. Meek Mill is in it, who is from Philly. But
Meek Mill is from Philly,
right? But yeah, it was shot in Baltimore. But yeah, it's very similar, and also like how that movie used real dirt bike. Like people from Baltimore with like real dirt bike culture. This uses real, the real guys who do this, right? The Fletcher Street, Urban Riding Club or whatever it's called. So like these dudes are really a part of that. So that's kind of dope.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
Cole is 15. He's from Detroit. Talk about going from a frying pan into the fire.
From one frying pan into another frying pan.
into a dirtier frying pan.
Look, if you're from Philadelphia, you're gonna get the business in this episode from Mike.
I don't mind Philadelphia. I just don't like that one guy who was just like, "Oh, Philadelphia is so great." Like, get out of here, foreigner. You don't know anything.
The same town I live in. Shut up.
That's where all my irrational hate comes from, guys, ladies and gentlemen. It's just something that annoyed me that someone else did and has nothing to do with anything else.
So I shit on your city every chance I can.
So I shit on your whole city. Even though I used to take weekend trips up there with my wife. To show her how the poors live. It goes from
look how much better we have it. I just wanted to show you this. Now let's turn around. Like, wow.
Look at our row home. Look at our row home, hollowed out row home block.
It's better than theirs. Yeah, this could be shot in almost any block in Baltimore. Like, I can't say shit about it.
Cole is 15. He's from Detroit. He's always getting into trouble. The movie opens up with him with the principal getting a phone call or giving a phone call to Cole's mom, and principal's like, "Yo, your son is bad, and I don't know what we can do about it."
Yeah, she said we don't have the resources. I'm like,
he was fighting with the cops and all that. And yo, we gotta kick him out. It's bad enough here in Detroit. we can't deal with this. So his mother picks him up, and she got all his clothes in garbage bags because the suitcase of the Philadelphian, and
it's all jokes, man. We don't need like 97 comments.
I don't give a shit, yo. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck about your city, yo. Mine is a shithole too, yo. But this is my podcast. You get a podcast and shithole Baltimore all you want.
That's right. I'll probably listen.
Right.
Send us a link.
I'll probably laugh.
Right. The suitcase of the Philadelphia. That's funny. Because it's true.
So he's like, what you got? What you doing with these suitcases? And she's like, I'm taking you to see your father. So she drops him off. It felt like they went straight from the school, drove straight from Detroit to Philadelphia.
Nigga, they ain't even stop for gas. Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
And dropped him off at the father's house. And he was just like, he crying too, man. He's like, "Mama, don't leave me here. Don't leave me here. It's Philadelphia. Don't leave me."
Well, what's hilarious? That's fucking hilarious. What's really quite interesting is he's talking like he's a real tough kid until his mama fucking kicks him out and he's standing there alone, right? Like then the reality hits, right? And you know, like you said, he's crying. He doesn't want to be left there. He's 15. You fighting with cops. Arguably 3 hours ago, you were in Detroit, right? However fast mom was driving. God damn. But now you're immediately reminded of how much of a child he truly is. Yeah.
And I don't know. It's a weird feeling, man. It's a weird, scary feeling. This thing is lit pretty well too, by the way. Like there's a lot of like browns and like real dark skinned black people here.
Again, that's why I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Ricky Staub is a white dude. Like, wow. Like, look, kudos to him, man. Because white directors are generally not this good, especially in the modern era. Like, they're just not.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah. Like, I'm used to seeing people just like be either completely washed out or look like spooks. And, and they don't. And he's walking around, and one of the neighbors recognizes him, played by Lorraine Toussaint. Her name is Nessie. And she's like, his father's at the stables, go find him. And he's like, stables? What? I'm on Fletcher Street. Like, this ain't, we're just talking about stables. So he walks around, he sees a horse. It's like, yo, huh?
Am I having a fever dream?
And he finds his dad, played by Idris Elba. Idris Elba's name is Harp in this movie. And it's an awkward meeting. The estranged son and father meeting for first time in a long time. And
yeah, I mean, you don't know how long they've been not together, but I mean, my guess is over a decade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd have to imagine it's not.
I mean, I've seen that look. That's the look my dad has when I saw him last. Like, so. Yeah, it's been a minute.
So Hart brings him in the house, and he's scared. Something startles him because there's in the words of Cole, there's a horse in your house.
Why?
There's a horse in the living room. And all the and he opens the refrigerator and nothing's in the refrigerator except for beer and cheese, which is
I mean, don't look. I need you not to cast aspersions on this.
Look, it's one more thing that I had in my refrigerator because I don't drink.
Right. Replace cheese with a half-used bottle of mustard. Micah used to live like a crazy person when he was single. Yeah, you gotta thank that woman. You gotta get down on your knees and thank that woman you live with every day. Thank you for all this ketchup and mustard in the refrigerator.
We got barbecue sauce.
Y'all niggas rich.
All kinds of condiments in here now.
I don't know.
We living high on the hog. Yeah, so there's a horse in here, and he's like, "I'm not staying here." And Harper's just like, "Look, you walk out that door, it stays locked until the morning." And Mr. Tough Guy is like, "Well, I'll leave in the morning then."
Yeah.
All right. The next day, he's trying to call his mom, and he runs into his older cousin named Smush, played by Jarrell Jerome. And they drive around and they go and get some food,
and smoke weed. Like, I mean, he's just like, he's happy to see him because I'm sure they kind of grew up together back when he was clearly in Philly. And I guess you kind of get the impression that the reason why he's so wayward I guess the easy answer as to why he was so wayward in Michigan is because he didn't have a dad around, right? Which I think is kind of a shitty argument, like, or a shitty point of view. But I think it may be more about like Philly is actually his home, and that Detroit actually wasn't, right? So, like, because he's immediately more comfortable hanging out with Smush, who he hasn't seen in God knows how long, than he seemed ever back in Detroit when you meet him, at least. So I think it's all about the fact that maybe his parents separated, though they didn't really seem like they were quote unquote together necessarily, but that he actually had to leave this place. So
yeah. When he's looking for a phone to call his mother, he's asking people on the street. He's like, "Hey, do you have a phone? Do you have a phone? Can I use your phone? I'm trying to call my mom." One person says, "I don't have a phone," and then he's like, "You don't have a phone?
Like, nigga, you don't have a phone.
You don't have a phone."
Yeah, and by the way, don't ever ask me to use my phone to call. No, fuck off.
No, I'm not giving you my phone.
What, you just so you can run off? You young, right. Like, I can't catch you. Get the fuck out of here. No. What's the number? I'll put it on speakerphone. You stand over there.
No, I ain't doing that. Nah, yo. Nah, get out of my face.
Nah, that sounds like a drug deal.
I got a kid. Get out of here.
I got a kid. I don't need a new one. No, I'm not helping you. Here's a nickel. What was a phone call cost? I don't know. Go buy a burner phone.
So, Smush, after driving around all day, Smush drops him off back at his dad's house. And his dad is like, if you wanna ride that street life, you can't be in my house. And
he opened the door and threw his bag at the car.
Right. He's like, "Nah, yo, you can't. You riding around with Smush, you can't be in here." you're not welcome back. And the kid is like, welcome back to what? Beer and cheese?
Yo, watch your mouth, yo. That's how we live over here.
I mean, look, that's the diet of the Philadelphian, right? you better recognize, boy. Things have changed in the decade that you've been gone.
God damn it.
So he goes out and he's walking with his 2 suitcases over his shoulder, and he's he's looking for Smush, and he comes over to this girl's house who I am kind of weirdly attracted to. I like mid-Atlantic hood looking black chicks with gigantic earrings, because that's what I used to see growing up.
Fair enough. Not upset about it.
You know, it is what it is. So he asks her, he's like, hey, is Smush there? And she's just like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, my house is not. What did she say? It's not an orphanage?
It's not an orphanage.
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
So he's homeless for the night. And he goes up to Nessie and is like, can I come in? And even Nessie's like, I'm gonna pray for you, baby.
Yeah, I mean, she basically was like, look, your dad's got rules at his house. I got rules at my house. So, like, would it look like me just letting your ass in? Like, no.
Exactly.
Do you get the impression that, was she supposed to be Smush's mom? I couldn't tell.
No,
okay.
She was, she's the neighbor. She's just his,
just a neighbor.
Yeah, Parp's neighbor.
Okay.
And she's seen the boy grow up, you know.
Yeah.
So I and you know, it's the only other person that he's ever spoken to since he's been here. So I guess he thought, you know, maybe I can ask her.
Right.
And,
no, I get that. The reason why I was wondering if it's Smush's mom is just because she says, I have this warm bed waiting for the prodigal son. And I wasn't sure if that was Smush. I wasn't sure at all. So, okay.
I assumed that was some sort of
just biblical reference.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just waiting for Jesus to come back, you know, metaphor and all that. So he decides that he's going to go sleep in the stables because you got to sleep somewhere. And, the typical Philly motel of these stables might as well be I'm loving this movie.
There you go. Eat your ass up in the comments.
He sleeps in the stables, and he sleeps with a horse. Horse is right there, just like bam, I'm in your face.
Yeah. And apparently it's this horse named Boo that is incredibly mean to everybody. It's a new horse.
Yeah. Oh, really? A wild child meeting up with and befriending the wild animal that no one else can control but him. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
this is what I'm talking about when I'm, you know,
standard beats. Yeah, standard beats.
Right. There's nothing wrong with it. It's pretty much standard. So in the morning, he wants to learn how to ride, according to Wikipedia. After he gets a little mini lecture from Nessie,
she's the one who finds him.
She says, "Hey, you're this horse. This horse is mean to everybody except for you. So you know what that means? That's your horse now. That's all it takes."
Yeah, horses are expensive.
Yeah, man.
You just go up and be like, "You good?"
You ever been horseback riding?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I took my wife horseback riding once. No, twice. We went in Fredneck, Maryland.
That makes sense.
For an anniversary.
There's a place right near your parents' house.
Yeah. And we went in Jamaica where we had the slaves got us into the ocean and then got us back out.
Yeah, that's one of the wildest fucking things. You had that poor black man dragging y'all rich American assholes out with a horse getting wet.
I really felt like a white guy just out there, but especially because the guy, like, he was doing us a favor, I guess. Like, we didn't ask him to do this. All right, we did not ask him to do this.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you just paid for it in your package. Your all inclusive weekend, you assholes.
No. Like, they go out, they take you out in the water. And they take a picture, they say, hey, look over there, and you take a picture. What this guy did, because he doesn't want the horses to go crazy or whatever, what this guy did is he lowered his head as much as he could. So you don't see this random dude in the picture. And when I wasn't paying attention to it because I was looking at the camera on the beach.
Oh no!
So if you find that picture on Facebook, that's why that dude is looking down.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be in your picture, sir. Oh my god, dude, that's horrible.
Look at that, and I'm just like, oh fuck. Dude.
I had to Photoshop. You got to Photoshop that dude out, man. Like, don't do that. I'll have that poor son of a bitch standing there kowtowing to you rich American assholes. Good Lord. That's hilarious. God damn.
All right, let's see. If
okay,
Cole wants to.
So there's one scene. Cole comes back to the house and his dad is like working on a saddle or whatever. And he's like, yeah, I'm ready. He sounded really enthusiastic. He's like, yeah, I'm ready to learn how to ride a horse or whatever. Like, yeah, show me all this cowboy bullshit y'all up to. And he's like, all right, yeah, I work the stables. He's like, all right, what does that mean? Like, all right, well, you can clean as shit, basically, like shoveling shit. And so yeah, that's his. So right before he does that, he goes out and hangs out with Smush again. Making sure that his dad doesn't know. And Smush gives him these like brand new Jordans. And this dude wears these brand new Jordans to clean up shit. No.
Tell me, yo. What did you think clean the stables meant, yo? And what did you think work the stables meant? But he's a dumb kid. He don't know no better, right? He 15, right?
Yep.
He's got to clean the stables and take all the manure to a dumpster. And this kid is doing it one shovel at a time.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, use your head.
Right. Work smarter, not harder, kid.
Nigga, there's wheelbarrows over there. The fuck do you know? You ain't never done yard work before? Well, it's Philadelphia. You guys don't. Or no, in Michigan, they got grass. Maybe they don't live in a house with grass, but like, yeah, nigga, get a wheelbarrow. They were leaning up against the shit dumpster, as they call it.
Oh man. We see a shot of a rotting corpse of a horse at one point. And this one cowboy who is paralyzed from the waist down, his name is Paris. And he's like, look, bruh, you're doing it wrong. Let me show you how to really do it.
He's, by the way, Paris is the guy that Ricky Staub met that got him into doing this movie.
Okay.
It's that guy.
I knew he was a non-actor because he immediately said within the first sentence that he spoke, he said John. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, all right.
He's a real Philadelphian.
He's a real Philadelphian right here.
Yeah.
He also, he tells him, hey, dummy, use common sense, put the shit in the wheelbarrow and then wheelbarrow the shit over to the dumpster.
Right.
We get introduced to a character named Esha.
It's probably Isha, actually, but go ahead.
Who is also a stable hand, also a non-actor in the film.
I thought she did a pretty good job, by the way, because she had a little bit more.
I thought she was an actress.
Yeah, like she had much more
like a seasoned actress. You know?
Like she had more heavy lifting to do than like Paris did.
And she got a kissing scene, right? Like, they
Yeah.
don't give kissing scenes to randos.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And we get a little bit of it's kind of a mini montage of Cole doing work and trying to it's basically his boot camp.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Like, we're getting his little boot camp scenes. We get a first person view or a camera view of the manure at one point, which is like they put the camera in front of the wheelbarrow facing the manure so that we get a POV shot of the shit.
I thought he was gonna fucking wreck and fall into it.
I did too.
I was like, come on, man, it's gonna be golden. He gonna flip out. Yeah, that does not look like fun work.
No, it does not.
No thanks.
But what was the saying they said? You got to do the hard things before you do the easy things or whatever.
Yeah.
Hard things come before good things.
Yeah.
Which is a decent mantra, right?
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's not like, with great power there must also come great responsibility, but
With great shoveling shit comes a chance to ride a horse. It doesn't really roll off the tongue as much.
We get a little bit of backstory of Paris, how he had a horse named Little, named after his little brother, and we get a lot more scenes of okay, it's nighttime, and the cowboys are sitting around the campfire, and they're
This is a great
talking.
scene, by the way.
It is, and they're talking about black cowboys and how black cowboys exist. This is one of the better scenes for me. I feel like it was one of the more interesting scenes because they're talking about like this weird thing of these urban cowboys and how, of course, they were black cowboys, and Hollywood whitewashed them to delete the black cowboy from the history books, and to even say that cowboy was like a slur, right? Originally it was cowhand, and they called the black workers cowboys, but it just got co-opted and changed, which is super. This is super interesting, man.
It is. I mean, look, we're giving Philadelphia a hard time because that's fun. But Baltimore also has not necessarily urban cowboy culture. Like, that's not, as far as I know. I mean, it's not a huge city, but like there's enough parts of the city like I wouldn't know about that very distinct small part of that culture. But we do have like a horsemanship culture in Baltimore, which is interesting too, right? So in Baltimore, we have something called Arabers, and these are the guys who ride, like, basically drive carts, horse-drawn carts that bring like produce around, fresh fruits and vegetables. So like that still exists in Baltimore to this day. Like I remember going to my grandmother's house, and seeing them as a kid and just being like, whoa, like that was just such an amazing thing to see even then. So yeah, that culture still exists, and there's stables in Baltimore, like, in certain parts of Baltimore where these guys keep them. Right. So it's not a crazy thing to think that this is only a Philly thing. It probably exists in a lot of largely populated black cities, up and down the East Coast, actually. Like I wouldn't be shocked to know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's super interesting.
Yeah. And look, black people, you mentioned, that you don't see black people in these kind of, I mean, not coming of age stories, but like black cowboys. Like that's not a thing that, black movies touch on a lot, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to do this. But what it goes to show you is like that idea of like that we often see portrayed like from black people to other black people, like, oh, you doing something that black people don't do, or like,
yeah, you're doing something white.
You're doing something white, right? Like, are you sure about that? because you could say, oh, being a cowboy is some white shit. No, it actually isn't. Like historically, it isn't. Like what they were talking about is true. Like the Lone Ranger shit is actually true. Like the Lone Ranger was black. Like that very much is a black man story that they whitewashed. That is absolutely true. So yeah, it's, there is, like you have to be very careful about what you decree as not being black, because a lot of what is black has been removed and changed and, reverse engineered in our history to be that we're told that there was a dominantly white thing. And, like that's not necessarily always true.
Which is why, if you're a non-black person listening and you ever wonder why black people kind of get a bug up their ass when we say, when we feel like someone is co-opting black culture, this is why, right? Because if you let it happen too much, and I'm not saying that nowadays, it would happen, but that's how it begins, right? If you like get, I don't know, like what is something decidedly black?
Like rap music,
box braids or something, right?
Right, sure.
If you get like box braids and enough people do it and you just kind of forget, and like that's how things get washed away from history, right? Like when people get real sensitive about music, they're afraid that something like, well, I part of me thinks they're afraid that something like this would happen. Like
sure.
It would be, but then, part of me is just like, you're being a bigot. Like we can,
like everybody can enjoy it.
All we can enjoy it, right? Like everybody can enjoy it and everyone can be inspired by it.
Right. That's okay. Yeah. But there are deep seated reasons why people feel the way they do. Sometimes their reactions are sometimes overblown, but yeah, I mean, if you were to ask the average person, where does cowboy culture come from? They would say white people. Like they just would. Like there'd be very few people who would say, well, there were black cowboys and, like they just wouldn't acknowledge that, or that, Latin culture and, has a heavy influence on, cowboy culture, like a lot of it. Right. So, just the idea of it all being basically my point is just be very careful about assuming that something that you see white people doing now was a thing that white people were the only ones who ever did it or created it or, or were the purveyors of it, or, you know what I mean? Like that's not necessarily true. Where definitely Western culture is, I mean like Southwestern culture is definitely perceived as being more white and, Hispanic, but that's not necessarily true. So, it's just to be aware of it. And urban cowboys still fucking exist in major cities, which is wild, but they do still exist.
Yeah.
So,
they go on, they have an older cowboy there, telling them about, what it was like. And at one point, Nessie was like, black people love horses because, we knew that horses shouldn't be tamed. And I immediately thought of, well, how do what's the term for taming a horse? It's buck breaking. And what is, like that term has been used to neuter black men. Specifically, right? The slaves, right? Yep. So it's incredibly interesting, man. And I would this one section of the movie is it's a standout for me.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, it's a perfect moment because it's this young black kid who is not. He's tangentially of this particular niche culture, right? You know, his dad is very much into this culture, and he's being brought into it slowly but surely. And what he's doing, I mean, I don't think it's happenstance to have this young black kid sitting around a campfire listening to elders talk about the history of their people, right? Like that is not lost on me, and it shouldn't be lost on anybody, what that signals, right? So, yeah, no, it does stand out, and I like it. It really does make you want to know more about this culture. Like, I did some reading about the Fletcher Riding Club and stuff like that. Like, it's very cool. Like, it's very cool. When I did the last time I, you know, was around people doing horseback riding was for my uncle's birthday. Like, it was the old times. I don't know, 4 years ago when we could go outside and shit. And that was the thing he wanted to do, right? Like, he wanted to have his party. He was turning like 55, and he was like, he knew these guys, at this place not too far from, in Baltimore County, not too far from your parents' house. And they have this riding club, right? And it's like right off like a main road. And here you go. It's this open pasture of horses, and it's owned by this black dude. And he like brings kids from the city to come out and learn how to ride horses and like have an appreciation for it and stuff like that. It's the same thing that they're doing, right? I mean, this is like obviously like their day-to-day lives, but that's his business, is because he grew up in that horse culture in Baltimore, right? Like, so once he had enough money, he, you know, started his own thing. So it does exist. Like, this is very real.
Yeah. That's what they do in Baltimore. They get they organize and make businesses out of it. And in Philadelphia, it's just, you know, 8 niggas sitting around a dumpster fire making stables out of hollowed out buildings.
Yeah, you didn't think we were gonna like let you forget it, really. Come on, get it together.
At one point, the local sheriff, the local cop, played by Method Man, who, you know what?
I liked him in this.
Method Man as an actor.
I do. Like, it's weird. It's weird. Like, I
feel like I shouldn't, but I really do.
Yeah. Like, it feels like, what are we doing here? But I thought he was quite good in this.
Yeah.
And I like that he's not playing just what I feel like are hyper versions of the Method Man character. Like, Cheese from The Wire is just a hyper version of Method Man, right? This is very different.
Because, you know, I think it's because Method Man is an old man now, right?
Yeah, he's 50.
He's 50, yo. Like,
which is 50. Wild. Nah, yo, we're old, yo. Method Man is 50, my nigga. How, yo? How? Like, that's crazy. He also looks exactly the same.
Yeah, he does, which I'm really upset.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
All that talent, and you don't age. Get out of here, man.
Yeah.
But sheriff comes up and he's like, "Hey, you guys, y'all got a dead horse here, man. Like, you got to get that out of here. Like, you know, you gotta clean this shit up, man, because these developers are coming in, and they are gonna wanna, you know, snatch up this property."
Right.
And I work with urban development in my job.
Mike is a gentrifier.
Yo, I just had a meeting where I basically just got strong-armed by a developer saying, "No, we're going to do this because this says so, and there's nothing you can do about it." And I'm just like sitting there with my dick in my hand, like, "Oh, okay,
you right."
Because like, developers got power, man. Like,
and money.
They got money, and that's all they need. It's
I mean, I think Steve Ballmer said it best. Developers. Those might have been different types of developers, but it's irrelevant.
You know, and Method Man, what is Method Man's name? Leroy. He's not a stereotypical character, but he got a stereotypical ass name. Leroy says, "Look, developers are coming, and Harper's is like, let them come. We'll see what the fuck happens. Like, all right.
Yeah, nigga, we gonna see what happens. You just a broke nigga on a horse. Like, man, they buy that whole city up. Get out of here. Yeah, I mean, I did like the idea of this looming gentrification argument that's also happening, right? Like,
Yeah.
you simply cannot have horses living in abandoned houses. But for so long before people go, I'm gonna put a Starbucks right there, right? Like that's,
Right.
It's just
Shit, nigga. Depending on what needs to be done, you can't have human beings living in a specific area if they really want you to move. If they really want you gone.
yeah,
Like I used to do what I do now. I used to do for the city of Baltimore, and
destroy lives. Got it.
And I mean, kind of like they when they were thinking about putting in a new transit line,
Right.
you would see a ton of like they forced these people out of their homes,
Yeah.
so that they could demolish them and build this transit line. So of course they forced the people out, giving them as little money as they possibly could,
Of course.
and didn't even build the transit.
Of course
line.
they didn't.
So now these people don't have a home anymore.
Yeah.
You can't just go back to it because they don't own the property anymore. Like it just, that part of it just really irked me, man, just because I got a personal, thing with it.
Right. That's how you make all your money. I got it.
Shit, I wish. Good Lord.
Yeah, they make a ton of money. No, but like you couldn't do that because you're a human being and you would feel like a horrible person, right?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, see, you're an asshole. You're an asshole. See, I'm trying to here I am trying to give you an out. You're like, no, I refuse. Let me dig the hole deeper for myself.
I mean, look, if I'm developing in Philadelphia, I will take each and every one of them goddamn homes. It don't matter. Get out of here.
Where is it? Philly? Knock it all down. Who cares? Couldn't be any worse.
And fix that goddamn crack in that bell.
That's
God
right.
Damn it.
Here's some super glue. Deal with it. No, but I mean, look, the gentrification argument, as it goes in this movie and as it goes in reality, is it's devastating, right? Like you're right. They will buy property. They will use eminent domain. If the government wants to come in and take your property, they'll take your property and then they won't use it. Or they will, we're going to do transit. And then they decide they're not going to do transit. They decide that they're going to, put a bunch of stores there, to crank up the rent for these fancy apartments that they're going to build or condos or something like that, right? Like they do that kind of shit all the time. The thing is, like in Baltimore, gentrification happens, especially in black neighborhoods, right? Like that is a thing. But I think people miss not an argument, but people miss one thing in gentrification arguments is gentrification isn't really about race. It's about money. They don't give a fuck what color you are. Yeah, you poor, they'll steamroll your ass.
Trust me, they will come to South Baltimore and move all you poor white people out of there.
Yeah,
no problem.
Right, and I'm the reason why I say that because I've seen it. Right, like there's an area of Baltimore called Remington, and Remington, yeah, okay, we went to a fucking great restaurant over there. It was amazing. It's like, oh damn, they got all the poor people out here. This is amazing, right?
When I first met my wife, we were dating, and we were like, "Hey, let's just go up to Remington and see what these new houses cost."
Nigga, what are you talking about? Right, you can't afford it. Like, this place, houses were $35,000 6 years ago. Get out of here. No, you can't afford to live there. So, like, this area, Remington, that I used to live like within maybe 10 minutes of. They basically went in, and that was a poor white area. Like it was just like sort of industrial businesses, and then like a couple rows of houses, right? Like there were no single detached houses. Those houses literally would, get bought and sold for like $50,000-$60,000. And that's it, right? Like they just were not. It was a poor neighborhood. Like it just was, and it was a poor white neighborhood. It was not mixed. It was white, just white, poor white working class neighborhood. Those developers came in there and were like, knock it off. Get out of here. They bought up all those fucking houses, and now it's fucking fancy restaurants and shit like that. And there's still people still living there, but they're living on the cusp, man. Like, those days are numbered. Your days are numbered.
They are gonna get pushed out, man.
They will.
And it's funny, man. Like, they're not like some of them are really nice, but like some of them they keep the feel of the warehouse look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's real shitty.
That's a real fucking fuck you.
Hey,
man.
this is what poor people would live like, but when you go inside, it's a 2,000 square foot apartment. Go fuck yourself. You imagine living in a factory like a homeless person? Me either. Anyway, rent's $3,000 a month, right? So,
right. Oh, you just take the elevator up. It's a freight elevator, yo. It's a freight elevator.
Oh, you can pull the rope yourself. Fuck off. I mean, I've always kind of wanted to live in an apartment like that. I thought those were dope on TV shows. But yeah,
I mean, look, I get it, but at the same time,
it's
like,
fucked up.
Yeah, like let's not like overlook that shit. Yo.
Right. Like, and when you're a kid, you don't realize those kind of things. Oh, living in a warehouse, that'd be so cool. And then you're like, wait a minute. Like, I get what they're doing here. Like, yeah, it's fucked up. Like, it's super fucked up. So yeah, gentrification is not necessarily a race thing. I mean, but it certainly would seem that way because it largely coincides with race because black people are poor in this country, like, you know, overwhelmingly poor. But make no mistake, white people, when they're done with us, they coming for your poor ass too. Like, so like when you hear gentrification arguments, you're like, well, that's not going to be us. Check the value of your house. Like, if it's below $100,000, it could be you. It could be you. Like, don't get it twisted. They're not coming in and knocking over $500,000 houses. They're knocking over $80,000 houses because that don't cost them nothing in the grand scheme of shit. So, look, I don't like to see anybody get put out of their houses. Now, there's a lot of places in Baltimore that are just abandoned. Like, if shit's abandoned, what the fuck you gonna do? Right? Like, across from where I work, there's a factory. That factory's been closed for 25 years, and they ain't built shit. They ain't built a widget in that motherfucker or turned a light on. 25 years. They leveled that shit and built a Chipotle there. It's great. Like, good. It was not being used, so I don't care about that, right? Like, it was an eyesore. It looked awful. They knocked it down and they built a bunch of fucking, you know, they're building apartments and shit like that. That's one thing. But when you take people out of their homes or in this case, crush cultures, to, you know, put up condos that look like condos everywhere, like,
right.
It's unnecessary and it's really gross. So, but there are mitigating factors, to those kind of things. But yeah, if you're white and you're like, that'll never happen to us, you're wrong.
Yeah,
you're wrong.
They coming for you.
Yeah. And it'll work because you won't see that shit coming.
Nope.
You can't get organized fast enough. Hey, wait a minute. Why are they? Nope. They're just like already pushing you out the front door. Like, too late. Fuck out of here. All right, keep going.
So next scene we see Cole hanging out with Smush again, and Smush, I don't know if we've discussed, is a low level drug dealer, and he takes Cole to this party where I guess the head drug dealer in charge is there.
Yes.
And they meet, and it's a very tense situation. The drug dealer, you know, has a sneaking suspicion that Smush might be skimming some off the top, I guess. And he takes note of Cole's shoes, and he's like, "Oh, they some nice shoes. Where you get them shoes from?" And he's like, "How much they cost?" I don't know. My dad got them for me.
Yeah.
All right. Pops, right? And he, so like this dude knows, right? Like, yeah, this dude knows that Smush got him for him. And then because villains have to have animals, he feeds some goldfish for some reason.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of weird.
No, I mean, as a villain, you want to take care of something, but not humans because you're a horrible person.
Next day, Cole asks Paris how he got in that wheelchair. Basically, he got shot. There's a little more to it, but it's not pertinent to the story.
Well, it only is pertinent to the story in one aspect, which he says that him and his brother, they got into an altercation. His brother was killed and he got shot, shattering his spine. That's how he ended up in the wheelchair. But he said they were basically fighting to take a corner back, right? Or take a corner, which they ended up putting a Starbucks on anyway. Like, so
Right. Yeah.
it was fighting a corner for no reason, basically.
Yeah.
And that rung well to me as a story. Like just this idea that here you are fighting for a drug corner and then gentrifiers come in and just like, get out of here. Like we're the ultimate fucking gang. Like we will take over this shit and it won't even matter. You're not running drugs in front of a Starbucks, so you're done here.
So we had a quick scene. After that, we had a quick scene of Smush and Cole, and it's basically like, hey, cuz, like, let me holler at you. It's you and me against the world, man. Like, I need you to have my back, and I'll have your back, and pledge fealty to me, I guess. That comes up a little later.
Mm-hmm. Nah. Fuck that.
That's your cousin, bro.
Who?
Look, I know. I got a bunch of knucklehead ass cousins too that they don't like my ass.
Pledge fealty, nigga. I don't think so. I don't even know what that word means. Get the fuck out of here.
So Harp, next day, Harp has a surprise for Paris. They go to an empty lot. They got a horse. They got a special saddle, and Cole goes with him. And Cole was like, I guess Cole was thinking, hey, I'm finally going to get a chance to ride a horse. And he's just like, nope, this is a ride specifically for Paris, because he can't ride, right? Like,
Yeah, he's in a wheelchair.
He's paralyzed, bro. So they get him on there, and it's touching.
It is a very touching scene.
Yeah.
And of course, Cole's reaction is exactly what you would think it would be, which is he's hurt not because he didn't get to ride. He's hurt that his father is a father to everybody else but him.
Yeah.
Which you can understand. Yeah, it's a really well shot scene. Like, it's a really well shot scene. And yeah, that saddle that Harp had been working on was the saddle for Paris, right? It's got the extra back on it and stuff like that to keep him upright. That guy, by the way, is not paralyzed in real life.
Oh, he's not?
No. He's not.
Ah, okay.
It's all a lie. It's movie magic, Michael.
He's a hell of an actor, then.
Yeah. He just
your ass down.
Yeah, he just sat there the whole time. I know. It was hard to believe. And so, yeah, they get back to the house, and Cole is pissed, and he's like yelling at his dad, and of course Harp is like, "Oh, you a man now? You a man now?" He's like, "No, you're a fucking boy."
And you know
breaks
what?
him down.
Like, that might sound funny, but nah, yo, nah.
You're not a man yet.
I am 100% in agreement. You got to stop calling these kids little men.
You have to.
And shit like that, man. Like, nah, yo, these are boys. These are boys. Because the second you start calling them little men, they're going to start acting like men, or other people are going to see them as men and be afeared for their life and shoot them and have no problem killing them.
Yeah.
Nah, man. Like, we got to normalize young boys being boys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I don't know if that's just because I have a son or if I would have always thought that, but nah, man, you're a boy. My son is big for, he's not even 2.5, and he's like 3'5" or some shit like that. Like, he's going to be tall. and I don't want.
Damn, I only got
Nah,
I got like a month left before I got to look up to him. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I just can't. Nah, yo.
No, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. We, as a culture, we tend to, we want to make, because, and I understand the impetus, right? We are forced to grow up so early in life because of the way we're treated by the rest of society, right? But we have to protect them. We have to protect kids and black boys especially. You really do. You really do. And you're right. We cannot age them up. They have to have the ability to be boys because they're going to fuck up. They're going to do things wrong. They're going to mess up. They're going to say shit. That's what little boys do. They're not men. You're right. 100% right.
Like, I understand. I completely, I'm not trying to be insensitive when I say that, right? Like, I understand that sometimes you got to grow up. If you are the man of the house, right? Like if you don't have a strong male figure, I understand that you have to do it, but that's a tremendous amount of pressure to put on a child. And if you can't help it, don't do it.
Yeah, it's too much. Like, even if you have to, it's too much. It is. Like, no, I mean, like, I didn't grow up with my dad, and my mom didn't get married to my stepdad until I was 16. So, like, I was never considered the man of the house. Like, my mom didn't do that shit. Like, you're a kid. What the fuck?
Right.
Like, no, get out of here. But yes, you're right. You know, there are certain situations where, you know, young boys are forced to work jobs, whether in high school, to take care of their siblings and stuff like that. Yeah, I get it. And that is, quote unquote, being the man of the house. But we still have to protect them and allow them to still be boys. We have to.
Yeah.
Life is already going to kick the shit out of them anyway.
Yeah, man.
Like, it just will. It will. They're black and they're black men. Like, it just will. It's just a fact.
I mean, he just straight up says, you're going to fuck around and you're going to get shot hanging out with your cousin. And
what the fuck else you want him to say? Like, like this whole conversation is rough to hear, and I thought Idris Elba delivered on this really well. Like, the whole thing with where his name comes from was a powerful fucking story.
Yeah, man.
So he basically says, like, look, he puts on John Coltrane song. If you don't listen to Coltrane, one, what's wrong with you? Two, you will just start listening to jazz at some point when you hit about 35 as a black man. It just appears in your playlist.
Some of the music, you're just going to be like, I don't know if I get with this, right? Like, you could try and stay hip as long as you want. You're not going to hit 40 and not be listening to some jazz. It's not going to be the only thing you listen to.
No.
But it's
going to be in your playlist. Yeah. It's going to be. Like, you know what I think it is? I think, especially things like I tend to, more than Coltrane, I listen to more Miles Davis. But
I'm a Thelonious Monk man myself.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, it's like, in listening to those guys, the thing I realize is, I think because our lives are so, like, one, being a dad is like hectic and crazy in its own right, but like being a black man and like dealing with like the bullshit of like reading the news about deaths of black kids and black men and black women and stuff like that, you need some shit to just like calm down and zone the fuck out. I don't want to hear you talking about anything. Just shut the fuck up. I just want to hear something that's just calming. And there is something about like that type of jazz music that's like, it just works. So yeah, if you're a black man and you hit 40, you're not listening to jazz, do you even listen to music? Do you turn it on? Like, cause it just like, it just somehow permeates into who you are. It just does. Yeah. Like, you just start saying shit. Like, I have now developed my, like, well, wouldn't let my kid do that. Like, I see other kids running around doing shit. I'm like, wouldn't do that. Like, I got that, like, that old black man shit, like, in my head. Like, wouldn't tolerate that shit. Like, no, go sit your ass down. Like, no, you develop those kind of things, and listening to jazz is one of them. So yeah, he explains that he named him Coltrane because John Coltrane was the most famous man he ever knew who didn't have a father to help him make it there. And that he knew he couldn't be there because he had to do a 5-year bid for doing what Smush was doing, right? He was a drug dealer.
Dealing drugs, basically. Right. And he went to jail before Cole was born.
Right.
And he went to Cole's mother and was just like, look, I know you hate me and all, but like,
I ain't shit.
Please let me name him. That's the only thing I want
right.
is for you to let me name him. And so Cole's name is Coltrane.
Which is a badass name, by the way. That's a great first name. That's a great first name.
It is. I would just go by Coltrane.
Fuck going. Yeah, not Cole. No, get out of here. Coltrane is a way cooler name. But when you're 15 and you never heard a John Coltrane song, you know what the hell you're talking about.
I mean, Cole is literally a lumper. Just a rock.
He's like, did you name me that because you're dark and I'm dark? Huh? Is that what you named me? You asshole.
Nah, I named you that because that's the only thing we had to play with in Philadelphia. It's just dirty rocks.
This is the best we had here. Oh man, god damn it. So yeah, he explains his name, and look, it says a lot of Idris as a father. It says a lot to name your son something that is telling in spite of you, right? Like he's not like, I'm naming you Harp Jr., like, because I'm awesome and you're going to be awesome. That's not what he's saying. He's like, I know that I fucked up, right? Like the level of like the sort of self-effacing, introspective perspective it takes to name your son, I want you to be great and be successful without me, is pretty powerful. That's a powerful line.
That's why my name is what it is, right? Like Micah is not a very common like name. My father's name is Michael, and I asked him one day, I said, why didn't you just name me Michael? And he was like, I didn't want you to be a junior because I don't want whatever sins that I have in my past, I don't want you to be associated with them. Be it, financially, legally, I don't want anybody to confuse us. So I wanted to name you something unique so that you can be your own person. Did it have to be Micah? No, I don't like it's not that I don't like my name. But there was a point where I didn't like my name.
Yeah.
And, but I would never let anybody, pronounce it incorrectly or spell it incorrectly. Like, so I don't hate it. You know what I mean?
Right. Your name is your name, right? Like,
yeah, that's right.
Like,
that's all I got.
That's all. It's literally, it's the only thing you have. At the end of the day, possessions, everything, your name is your name. So we do get an interesting scene right after this, which I thought was a really fun twist on a narrative. You kind of find out why Smush is like amped to make so much money so fast. And it's not just like, yo, I'm just trying to get rich. Like he's actually trying to buy property out west so he can buy a huge ranch out west because property is cheap so that he could continue riding, and like bring all the horses and everything out there. I thought that was an interesting little kind of character moment for him.
That certainly was a swerve that I was not expecting.
At all. Cause he used to ride as well.
Yeah. He used to ride, and he's, like you said, saving up money to get a ranch. And it's like, and you and I, we can go out west together to get our, and we can run a ranch together. Like on the one hand, like that sounds like something a kid would say, like a 15-year-old would say. But at the other hand, like, I mean, he's showing that he has the paperwork. Like he's doing the research. He's trying to do it. So,
right.
Yeah. very unique little twist there.
Yeah.
One night, later that night, Cole is everybody's all acting all panicked, and Cole comes up and he's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, Boo escaped, and Boo is playing baseball now. So Boo went to
Boo is the horse that befriended Cole, just for people.
Yeah. Boo was taking the whole Philadelphia Phillies thing a little too seriously. Now he's fucking playing baseball. So they all are gonna try and they all have to try and like tame Boo. So they all form like a human chain, and Harp is like, "All right, I gotta get ready to do this," and Nessie's like, "Come on now, you know this ain't you. You know whose horse this is. You know who needs to do this." And then they all look at Cole.
And Cole was like, "Huh? Who?"
Look,
you wild.
When that horse started bucking his back leg,
I'm out, nigga. I'm out. Oh, leave that horse. Listen here, glue stick. I gotta go. Like, yo, I'm done. No.
Nigga, me and my wife, we were like, nope.
Yo, can you imagine the level of brain damage you'll have by getting kicked in the head by a horse? No. It'll kill you, man. No. Horses are dangerous.
Nigga, a horse took out Superman, yo.
Right.
Like, I'm not.
Spike that nigga like a football. Like, no, yo. Superman can't walk. What kind of shit is that?
Like, it can't be me. But this is this whole scene. I feel like this whole scene is where Lee Daniels got his little notes in, because it's just one big ass like smack you over the head metaphor, right? Like the wild animal can only be tamed by the wild child, and the two of them are it doesn't happen immediately, right? And he's like, is this some fucking lesson, man?
Yeah, because he fell off the horse. Yeah, he almost got Christopher Reeved. Like, no,
right? Like, don't fuck with horses, yo. Don't ever approach a horse from behind, yo.
Oh no, yeah, that's a first lesson. You let them know you're there. Kick your fucking head off.
No. And his dad comes over and is like, "Look, man, this ain't about you and me. This is about you overcoming this obstacle, right? This is you overcoming your inner wild child, right? And this is you needing to realize that you need to calm down and not be so angry." Right? Like you cannot like me, but you don't need to be angry at me. You don't need to be angry at the world, right? Like, that's how I saw it.
Yeah, no, I think that's largely it. I mean, I think it also goes back to, sort of the joke that we made, but, in a little bit more serious manner, which is, this is their connection, right? This is the connection between him and his father, right? Like, oh, you like horses, I like horses too, right? Like, so it works. And you're right. I mean, the metaphor is the size of a Mack truck, right? Like, it's huge and it's obvious, but I'm not going to lie, man. It worked on me. It worked on me.
Look, I get it, right? I get it.
Works.
It does work. It does.
Yeah,
work.
it does.
I feel like part of it is because you are a parent.
That is one, dude. When I saw this scene is when I texted you, right? And I was like, look, like, you have no idea, to people who are not parents, the level of change that happens to people who become parents, like, who give a fuck, right? Like, there are people who are like, they have kids and just don't give a shit, right? But like, when you really care about, being a parent and like trying to be a good parent, like, I am so weak now. Like, I used to be much harder than I am as a person. But like, things like this work on me. Like, they do, because he's literally there watching his son accomplish something. And like, you look at Idris Elba's character in that moment, and it's not just like, yeah, we did it. Like, he is exuberant about watching his son do it. Right?
He's beaming.
He's beaming because, and it's the first time, besides like drinking and having fun with his friends, that you see him like that, especially about Cole, right? It's normally like, you gonna get shot, like he's like super serious with him. But in that moment, like he has this, this moment of pure joy for his son, right? And that connection is important. And then, to really hit the metaphor home, here Cole is with, Isha out in the rain after, right? Like this cleansing moment after all of the bullshit that they've been through, this cleansing moment of literally you are supposed to be a different person coming out of this scene, right? As the movie as the movie progresses. And again, it's not lost on me that the very next scene is Cole and Isha sitting, having ice cream, and everything around them is green and lush and like quite beautiful in this like sort of rugged way, right? Like, so it's, I don't know, that scene really worked on me. And it's just, you're right. Like, is it because you're a parent? Yeah. Yeah. That's a big fucking part of it. Like you become a fucking softie. You do. Cause you want to see your kids accomplish great things and whatever that great thing is to you, right? Like whatever that context is. So yeah, I thought it was great. Yeah, kids make you saps, man. They do. They should. Yeah, they should make you saps.
Yeah, if they don't,
yeah, it shouldn't work the other way. You should want to protect them and stuff like that. Like that's normal, right? Like if somebody does something to your kid, yeah, you want to rip their head off. That part is normal human shit. But they should also make you softer, like softer to the world. Like they should. So. And I don't know, like I'm a giant fucking softie. I tear up on like shit like this way more than I ever did before I had a kid. I just do. Oh, you got me, Idris, with the goddamn horse. It worked. Like, yeah, I get it.
So, the next day, everybody, like you said, the two kids are having fun, and Isha gives Cole a cowboy hat. 'Cause he's one of the family now, and it's just black people having a good time. And this made me feel good, right? Like,
yep,
like it's black people just having a big ass cookout, and everybody talking shit, and
yeah, they even have a little Muslim girl with a head wrap, like a hijab, with a cowboy hat on.
Cowboy hat on.
Yo, you talk about black people all like culturally, we do whatever we want, like whatever we want. I love it. By the way, this is 100%. These are not extras. These people are real Philadelphians, right? Like,
oh yeah, look at them.
You're an asshole, but you're such a dickhead. But yeah, like. People doing the electric slide. Like, we will do the electric slide to anything. To anything. Like, we got cowboy hats on and shit. Like, nah, but like black culture in America is nothing short of remarkable. Like it is. Like black culture in America is nothing short of remarkable. So it's dope to watch. It really is. This is like the episode of Small Axe, right? Where it's just black people having a good time. Like you just love seeing that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. They even got a little ghetto Preakness going on. Where it's
Preakness is pretty ghetto. What the fuck?
Preakness is trashy.
Yeah. It's white trash. That's true.
This is ghetto. I ain't mad at it though.
No, fuck
they drag racing horses. Oh, fucking!
I wanted more. Look, I gotta tell you, this doesn't happen in the movie, so it's not a spoiler. I thought for sure that the end of this movie was going to be Cole and Harp having a race, and it was going to be biker boys, where Harp was going to let Cole win. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I thought for sure that's what this was going to be.
Oh shit! Fucking, I live my life fucking 2 gallops at a time. And you could tell that race, the one guy was a non-actor, no,
he's like a comedian actor.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's not one of these guys.
Oh, okay. I guess they couldn't afford a stunt double for him because they damn sure had Idris Elba like, look, you better put this goddamn bandito mask on. It costs too much goddamn money.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be me, my nigga.
Damn horses.
Yeah, no, hell no.
You fall off that damn horse, we in trouble.
Yeah, like, insurance ain't gonna cover this shit. No.
We ain't gonna we ain't even gonna shoot you close up. You better put that goddamn mask on. Idris Elba wins the drag race.
Where Cole gets to see his father be a hero for the first time.
Yeah, Cole gets to see his father beat a man. Which is awesome, right? Like,
yeah, it's important. That's important for kids to see.
I hope that my son sees me in some sort of positive light.
Yeah, he will. You're a good dad.
But being like a badass, you know what I mean?
No, that'll never happen.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Right. Like, I don't want to have to, I don't want to have to fight somebody in front of them. Right. Cause
why you just drag race some horses in Philly? You can just do that. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Speaking of what the fuck are we doing? Smush and Cole
y'all niggas are bad at crimes. You niggas are bad at crimes.
They set up a drug deal that immediately goes bad.
Well, it was a setup. Like those dudes were setting them up.
Yeah, they got set up by the fish tank guy.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Don't go nowhere," and they stuff Smush in a trunk of a car, and he was like, "Yeah, you thought you could steal my money and get away with it." Luckily, Philly PD shows up, and one of the car that Smush is in starts driving away with the trunk door open, and Smush is he's got to get out. Like I was like, "Oh shit, nigga! Like jump, nigga, jump!"
Yeah.
So one of the cop cars goes after that car, and Smush and Cole start to make a break for it. And lo and behold, Sheriff Method Man is there, and he's chasing him.
I love that. I love that. He's not really a sheriff. Like he's just a regular city cop in Philly who wears a cowboy hat. Like he's not a sheriff. Like, that's wild. This dude just think he's like Nash Bridges or some shit in the middle of Philly. Like, nigga, you are a regular ass beat cop. Stop it.
I mean, he does look kind of cool with the glasses and the hat.
Yeah, I mean, he make it work, right? He
makes it work. He makes it look good. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah, you're right. I really like. It's wild. Like, I probably shouldn't like Method Man as an actor, but I do. Like, I
really like Method Man as an actor, man.
Yeah,
like
he's doing all right.
He's doing all right for himself.
Yeah, I mean, how long you get? Like, you're 50. Are you just gonna be?
I mean, like,
you be rapping about bashing niggas' nuts on dresses like for the rest of your life. You can't do that. Like,
I mean, he's billed as Cliff Method Man Smith in the opening credits. So that means that he is going to transition, much like Dwayne Johnson is trying to transition away from The Rock. We're just going to have a film starring Cliff Smith in it.
That's fine.
I'm fine with it, man.
I kind of want to see him star in something. And not like a B action movie with Steven Seagal, like a real movie, like this, like I want to see him really go for it. I think I think he's pretty good.
I think he can be a leading man in something.
Yeah, I think he could be.
Something that's not like gangster related,
Right. And that's what I liked about him being this, right? Like this, I mean, it's sort of there, but like not really, right? One, he's playing a cop. Right? Like, him and Ice-T are some wild niggas, he's a wild dudes, man. Your whole career is like, fuck authority. And he was like, oh, paycheck? Oh, nigga, I'm a cop.
Nigga, Ice-T made his claim to fame on Cop Killer.
Right.
And then made his claim to fame again being a cop.
Ice-T is a wild dude, Like, you got to give Ice-T his flowers, man. Like, That is the ultimate fuck you to police, by the way. Fuck Ice-T for that song. Oh, no, but now I'm going to be y'all now. And I can do both.
I'm going to be y'all in movies and in TV.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to kill Nino Brown so bad, my dick is hard. Like, one of the greatest lines of all time.
All right. So Cole and Smush, they escape because, as we have said, Method Man, while he makes looking a cob look good, he's still 50 fucking years old.
Yeah, and he's
trying to chase down a couple of teenagers.
Yeah, right? Nah, yo. they make light work of his ass.
Smush says that they are so close to having enough money to move west. They just have to commit more crimes. And Cole expresses that he is done with that life, bro. Like I can't really do this anymore.
Nope.
Let's see. I'm trying to make sure that a couple of montages. My man Cole finally gets a kiss, Leroy, Method Man's character, rolls up on him. He's like, "Come on now, don't act like I ain't see your ass. Don't act like I don't know where your daddy lived."
Right. Fucking
he takes him to the racetrack. Gives him some life lessons. It's basically like, don't let me see you do that shit again.
Right.
This is where my man Cole gets a kiss in the next scene.
Yeah.
And then there's one thing where he's trying to learn.
She kissed him, by the way.
Very
modern.
Yeah. There's one thing, a couple of scenes of him trying to stand on the horse, trying to stand on top of the horse.
Because he saw pictures of Smush doing it, and he thought that was pretty cool.
The next day, animal control comes in, and they are here to seize the horses because no shit, the neighbors are complaining. And Harp says that Cole was upset. He was like, "Do something." It was like, "Do you want to get shot? Like, stop, like, don't roll up on these cops, yo."
Yeah,
I mean, I know they just animal control, but like
they probably got a gun,
right? They at least got a stick.
Yeah,
and this old white dude who looks like who looks like he looks for the Michael Olesker editorial section in the Sun. He comes over and he's just like, "There's nothing you can do about it." And
that's a deep local cut. Wow, that's ridiculous.
And Cole is upset, right? Like he don't know how to express his feelings.
No.
And Cole calls Harp a coward because he couldn't do nothing about it. I was like, "Well, what you want to do, real?" Like, this is the part of raising a child. The irrationalness of the teenage years that I'm just like, I'm not looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that either. You have a boy, so shut the fuck up.
Please, you got a girl. That means that's your wife's problem.
Nigga, what? They hate each other. They're gonna hate each other by then. Nah, I gotta hear
love you. She gonna love you.
No, that's true.
Just like my son loves his mother.
Yeah, that's true.
And can't stand my ass.
Yeah.
I walk in the door, he cry, "Mommy."
He home.
All right.
Him downstairs, like I got no name. That's fucking funny. Yeah, so he goes out with Smush
he goes
one
out
more
with
time.
Smush and is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Smush. Like they took my horses and now, I ain't got nothing else." So it's like, "I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you're here."
Let's get this money.
They talk all that game, but like, nah, man, the dream is to move out west, right? Like we with it. It was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, all right. So they got one more drug deal that they do, and Smush tells them, "Stand on the corner, be a lookout. I'm gonna drive up into this to this Wawa, and I'm a be right back, right?" And a kid on a bicycle just rolls up and shoots Smush while Smush is in the car.
Yeah.
And
never saw it coming.
Yeah, never saw it coming. It's fucked up, man. I saw it coming because
yeah, of course,
I've seen these movies before.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he gonna get straight murdered in this scene. Yep.
yeah. We were just waiting for him to get murdered.
Yep.
Waiting for him to die, because that's his role in these type of movies.
Yep.
Cole runs over there, and he's shocked, right? Like he holds him, and he's just like, "Fuck," right? The scene cuts to Leroy talking to Harp, talking about Smush getting shot, and he says that there was another kid at the scene, and you should probably find your son.
Right.
So Harp goes looking for him. I think they get the community to help, right?
Yeah, it's most of the cowboy community.
Yeah. Those scenes are intercut with Smush's funeral. And one night, Harp finds Cole in the stables. Instead of flying off at the handle, right? Like, where the fuck you been, boy? Like, he realizes that, his son has just seen some traumatic shit.
He's a good dad.
And he helps him.
He's a good dad.
Because that's what you're supposed to do, right? Like, I feel like my father would just immediately start yelling.
Yeah. But maybe, right? Like maybe in that moment.
Maybe not.
And then he sees how you react to it,
But there's a time and a place for lectures and stuff. And right now, like after seeing your cousin get murdered, and you still have your, his blood on you,
it's not the time. No, it's not the time. And some things don't even need to be said, right?
Yeah,
like you just saw this dude get killed in front of you. You get it? I don't think I need to say anything else. Right. I think you might have figured it out. So from there, he Harp talks about like, hey, look, we're gonna he cleans him up and he's like, look, we're gonna go get his boots. We're gonna go get Smush's boots and his saddle, and we're gonna have a proper, they already put his body in the ground, but we're gonna have basically a proper goodbye to him. They also decide that they're going to break into the city, the municipal police stables, and steal their horses back. And they do some, like, this part's a little goofy. Like,
yeah,
it's a little goofy. It's like a little cowboy horse thievery, right? And and it feels a little silly. I will admit. They eventually break into Harp and Cole break into the stable. They're literally the worst thieves I've ever seen. Like these guys would have gotten caught within 2 seconds.
If only Philadelphia hired competent people.
Right. This guy's playing a Game Boy Advanced.
Right, because that's how far technology has come in Philadelphia. They haven't quite made it to the Nintendo Switches yet.
No, definitely not. How could they? So they break in, they get their horses, and then the door swings open, and you're like, oh shit, here comes this cop the security officer who was playing Nintendo Advanced, eventually figured out that they were being robbed. And it's actually Leroy, Method Man's character. And he's like, I've been waiting 3 days for y'all to muster up the courage to come and steal these horses. And so, basically he's like, well, what do you want? What are you going to do? Like, you going to call the police? And he's like, no, I'm gonna help you basically. Right. Cause even though Leroy is a cop, he's also a part of the cowboy culture, the black cowboy culture too. Right. Like that's why he wears a fucking cowboy hat. It's not lost on him. And he feels, he feels a kinship with everybody too. And I think he felt like shit when they were kind of calling him out in front of all those like animal people who were taking the horses too, right? Like he didn't feel right about it.
Yeah, absolutely. He didn't want it to happen, but like
He tried to warn them. Like when you first meet him, he was like, "Yo, you got a dead horse back there. Like you got to clean that shit up."
Yep.
And they didn't do it. So he helps them get the horses out by letting out all of the horses. And then they run around.
He was like, "Hey, dummies! If you just take the two that you want, like that's it's gonna lead back to you. If you the only two niggas in Philadelphia riding around on horses, it's gonna lead back to you. Like they know where they got these things. So
right. So let's let out a bunch of them. We'll round those up, and nobody will give a shit about your horses." After they realize, like, we have real crimes in the city because it's Philadelphia, and there's always a crime, right? There's always
Of course. Right? That's why there are a bunch of crimes, because they keep harping on these black people trying to just live out their cowboy fantasies.
Right. Like, pay attention, Philly cops. So they eventually steal them back, and they bring back all these horses back to their people. And then they have a proper funeral for Smush. At that funeral, Leroy is actually there too. And at the funeral, Cole is finally capable of standing up on the horse and has like, kind of a signal to his friend or his cousin who his fallen cousin. And then, we see sort of a montage of developers coming in and tearing down their old stables and everything. And basically, Harp is like, look, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to ride. Like, we'll figure it out. And we'll keep going. And so that's kind of where the movie sort of ends. Well, then there's a scene of, Cole and Harp like washing his horse out in front of his house, which is just such a weird scene. like it's just odd. He's got like a hitching post. Like, nigga, this is Philadelphia. This is so strange. And Cole's mom comes, and she comes to see him. Which does she want to get back with him? Like, I couldn't tell what the sort of that was, or just respect for him taking care of their son. I couldn't quite tell.
I think it's I think she realizes that that the two of them are bonded again.
Yeah.
And I think that's that's what she wants deep down, right? Like she wants her son to have a positive relationship with his father, no matter what, the two of them had.
Right.
And
what a very mature perspective. Like,
right.
What a very mature perspective.
And the fact that he didn't, the fact that he wasn't calling his mother every single day, like, come and get me, is means something to him.
Yeah.
So,
and that's where the film ends. And then we get a couple of scenes of the actual cowboys from the Fletcher Street Riding Club who were in the movie. Like, talking about it and how it like helps people academically and things like that. Kids in the neighborhoods and stuff like that, learning about horses and taking care of horses. Yeah, I thought it was a good movie, man. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a aspect of black culture we don't often see, and should be explored more. So that was dope.
Yeah, if you go into this expecting the story about the black cowboys, you're not going to get that, but you are going to get a pretty decent coming of age story set in that world.
Right.
And that's what makes it unique from other coming of age stories. It's very interesting. And yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. It's definitely worth a watch. Like there's like, it's weird because like for me, there was nothing grossly like offensive about it, but there was also nothing like outside of the image of the urban cowboy. There's nothing like, oh my God, like you gotta see this movie, right?
No,
like, it's
I just thought it was really
one of those. It's one of those movies that's just kind of like, oh, this is on. Oh, I like this. I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's great in its simplicity, right? Like that's the best way I can describe it. So, yeah, I think people should see it. I think black people should see it if that's not a part of black culture that you realize existed or were, not nearly as up on. Yeah, I think it's something you should check out. So, Concrete Cowboy on Netflix. Again, you can stream it. And if you want to watch it again. Support more black shit. That's awesome. All right. We will see you guys next week for another preview episode for episode 198.
See ya.
Bye. You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.